Hi everyone, this is a video on how to best use the UNC online library. So what we'll do is just walk through a tutorial with steps for the best strategies to search for academic peer-reviewed journal articles that you can then utilize for your assignments. So the first thing we'll need to do is just Google UNCO library. That's really the easiest way to get here. So when you type that in to Google, you'll want to click on this first result, unco.edu library. When you click on libraries, you'll come into multiple different types of catalogs that you can search. You can play with this, browse around, and choose what works best for you. I'm just going to show you what I typically do when I'm looking for articles and what has worked best for me in the past. So I just go with Summon right here. It's the first tab, so it should be clicked as a default. And then here you're going to be typing what you're looking for and the topic. So you can see I clicked and my drop down shows some history of some searches that I've done before. For this one, I'm just going to search special education transition. This is just an example. So I hit enter. And there are a couple things that I will need to do to make sure that the results that I'm getting are appropriate, because as you can see, the UNC library is full of a lot of different things, such as books. You can get book reviews, magazines, some news content, and not all of that is going to be appropriate for the requirements for your assignments, which generally will be looking for academic, peer-reviewed journal articles with evidence-based practices that you can then review and critique and integrate when you're looking for sources to support your statements in a paper or assignment. So the first thing I'll need to click is here on the left-hand side. I'm going to click Full Text Online, and I'm going to click Peer Review. Those two are very important. So peer-reviewed, obviously, that'll bring us to the academic journal articles that we're looking for rather than just a position paper or somebody's opinion. And then the full text option is important because you will encounter some articles on the website where we can't access the full text at this time for whatever reason, and you want to weed those out. We really want to make sure that we can download it perhaps as a PDF or get to the full text of the article. And if we're not able to do that, then generally the source won't be useful to us for our purposes. So just click that one, and then you won't go through any disappointment with not being able to access the full text once you identify something that you want to explore. One other thing that you didn't see me encountering here is you may hit a username and password login. The reason you didn't see it for mine is because I'm just already logged in, but it may come up as a prompt for you. So if so, you'll just use your UNC username and password, and that should work to get you in. And then you can use this Summon tool. So on the left-hand side, I've clicked Full Text Online and Peer Review. The last thing I'm going to want to click is Journal Article, because then that will eliminate some of these other options. And from there are several more specific details that I can work with here. For instance, if I want something really recent, I could click last 5 years, and that'll narrow it down for me. However, depending on what you're looking for, you might want something that is a little bit older, and that'll just be based on the assignment and the expectations. And if you want to broaden your results, you can do that start date perhaps earlier. So that's all just depending on what you're needing. But for now, we'll go with the past 5 years. So I'm going to click last 5 years here. Then I have several different articles. So as with anything, if you think about a traditional brick and mortar library, we're going to walk in there and we're going to see a lot of different books and volumes and magazines that are not interesting to us or are not relevant to what we're looking for. And even if we're using that Dewey Decimal System and we get to a section in the library that is focused on the topic that we're researching, several of the resources there won't be quite relevant or quite what you're looking for. And that'll be the case with this online library as well. So you may encounter some sources that perhaps even are not in English. You might encounter some things that don't quite hit the mark of what you're looking for. And if that's the case, just do what you would do in a physical library and just browse on through. Obviously, you can't judge a book by its cover. So when you see these titles for these articles, if something does stand out to you or appeals to you and your interests at all, go ahead and click on it. It's nice to just play around with this. So even if you're not researching a particular topic, for an assignment, but it's just interesting to you, you might want to see what the most recent research is saying about that topic. It could even be outside of the field you're studying, and just use this resource because there's really comprehensive base of knowledge and of research in this online library. So you want to take advantage of it because you won't be required to pay here outside of what you're doing to be a student at UNC and tuition. This will be included for you within that. What you'll find if you go on Google Scholar, for instance, or some of those more broad general search engines, is that oftentimes they will expect you to pay for access to an article, and that's not necessary because as long as you're enrolled as a student here at UNC, you can access this content for free, and it'll be a really broad base of information for you and many different resources that you can review. So what I'm going to do as I scroll down is just see what I can come up with here. We already clicked peer review on the left-hand side, but it is reassuring. You'll see this little purple icon, and you'll know that what you're looking at is peer reviewed, so it'll be evidence-based. So down I go. I happen to like the looks of this one. It is from 2018, so it's quite recent, and the title is Special Education Transition Predictors for Post-School Success. And that is enticing to me because obviously the big picture is we're educating students with any kinds of needs or strengths would be preparing them for that success in the adult world, whatever that might look like, and to be productive and engaged members of society in their own ways and playing upon their own strengths. So I will click on this one and see what we can get. So when I click on that title, depending upon the article, you will encounter different things here. So I'll show you another one. But for this, I'm going to click full text online. There you'll see it's asked me to log in. So I'm just going to use my username and password, get into my account. And this one will take me here to a screen that looks like this. And this is the full article. So I'm probably showing something that you're already familiar with, but I'll go over it here quickly. When you are approaching an academic journal article, you'll want to look first at the abstract just to get a feel for what's going on in this article and what is it about. So for instance, I'm reading here in the article this brief summary. The abstract indicates that the study was examining perceptions of different administrators or even special education teachers at the secondary level. And this is in Indiana, this particular study, and we're taking a look at evidence-based transition predictors and their usage and the knowledge of practitioners within the field and the impact on post-school outcomes. So I think that looks pretty interesting. This is kind of nifty because you have lots of options here on the left-hand side. You want to find out what exactly were they doing, who were these people. So as you scroll down, you'll find statistics regarding exactly who was participating. You'll often see some visuals, and you can take a look at the table. Kind of interesting to find out who was involved in this study. Obviously, the results. This is going to be one of the most important sections when we're reviewing an academic journal article. And this is just going to say kind of raw data here. What were the outcomes of this study? And that might be a qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods study. But as you're reviewing these results, you might start to think about the implications and the bigger picture. And that's a lot of what you'll see in the discussion. So the discussion is a really useful section for us as well when we're reviewing research. And a side note that I'll add here is you don't have to read every single word of an article in most situations. Because if we did, some of these may be 30 pages or longer, and that might not be the most efficient use of our time. So instead, I would encourage you to A, start with the abstract, figure out if it's even something you want to pursue. And then B, just to look at these main sections here, particularly method. It's good to get a feel for that so that you know what they were doing in the study. Results, obviously, that is the data and the output. So we'll want to know what they found out in this study. But the discussion really is a beautiful section because it summarizes all of that. And this will be a lot more of the words and less of the numbers. So it does provide interpretation of the information that you'll see in the results section and more detail regarding what this means. But as you move into the discussion and the conclusion, you'll see more of a big picture focus and why do we care kind of a thing. So we'll be thinking about the impact that this information could have on the field, and also about what this could do for us as practitioners. Kind of the so what of the research is what you'll encounter in the discussion and conclusion sections. So these are really good ones for you to focus on as well. Another thing that you'll often see in discussion or conclusion sections, and mixed in somewhere in there, will be limitations of the research and future directions for research. So it's very important when you are conducting a research study, and you may have done some of those already or might be doing them in the future and at the graduate level, that you do address the limitations, because it's an imperfect world. No study is perfect. We wish that we could control for everything and get perfect data, but obviously there are things that are outside of our control, and there's always somewhere to expand. There's always room for growth. So when we do conduct a study, oftentimes you'll see things like our participant pool, the size of that pool was limited. We would like to see more diversity in the participant pool. If the study is focused on people at a certain grade level, we might say, what about younger students? What about students in rural versus urban versus suburban communities? And what about socioeconomic status? How might that come into play? And those are just some random ideas, variables that could be extraneous or lurking in our research, or might come to mind as something that could spark our interest for future research in the bigger picture. As you conduct research, either now or in the future at the graduate level, a really great opportunity for us when we're trying to figure out what to study and what the gaps are in the body of research or evidence in the field, what the field needs, contributions from researchers. These are really fun things to go through. You want to look for articles in the area that interests you, and then go to those limitations sections, scroll through, read about future directions in research, and what these researchers basically will say, we wish we could have done, we wish we would have done. We want to expand in this area or look into this other factor, and that'll give you a really good idea sometimes of what the field still needs and what information should be gathered. And then when you present your study proposal to the IRB, the Institutional Review Board, you can advocate and cite these sources, these articles, and say X and X researchers in X year, recent obviously is preferable, indicated that more research is necessary in the area of this or that. And that's a really beautiful way to say, hey, here are these evidence-based studies and practices. Here's the direction that they've indicated is necessary. And here's the gap that I want to fill. And that's a really good foundation for a proposal for a thesis or dissertation or capstone or whatever kind of project you might be working on. So that's what this will look like, and you can click through. Obviously, they'll have many more references. If you want articles that are related to your topic and you're not sure where to go, the reference list of a study that you like can be a really good place to start. You'll see some of the studies that they reference here as their own sources are older or newer. But it's kind of a cool list to just see what were they diving into as they were developing this study. So that's what we're looking at. I'll go back to the results page, scrolling down. So kind of interesting. This is a little bit different from what we just looked at, but this is a systematic analysis of transition coursework required for special education licensure. And as we all probably agree, it's really quite valuable to examine what is provided. So we're looking at another article. We're seeing full text online. Same thing. We'll be clicking that button and we can investigate what's provided for people who plan to be teachers and how prepared they might be for transition planning with students and with families. I'm looking at transition services in 8 rural counties of Western New York. And these are views of directors of special education. So we have that administrator perspective. And again, full text online. So you'll see this system for a number of articles. You'll just continue to click that full text online button. And as I'm looking through, that's probably what you'll encounter, but this is the different screen that I wanted you to see. So you'll click PDF full text here to see the article itself, and then you can always click the back button to get to where you came from. So there's another article in PDF format. One other thing I want to show you is the cite function. Here on the right hand side, you can scroll down to APA, and this will help you with 7th edition source citation. Another place you can do this is right here on this original summon page. If you click these little quotation marks, item, and let me know if you have questions. That's the UNC library. Thanks.